So, as you guys might have seen before, there's different methods to be able to customize applications, not only for your own business processes, but for your end customers as well, as a developer, as a partner, or as maybe even a Zoho customer. So we're going to take that same methodology and kind of talk about what direction we're trying to head in as a company and how we can offer some of these things to you guys a little bit better. So just talking about it generally, any business is not very easy to start, right? As business owners yourselves, you know it's not the easiest thing on the planet. There's all these different intricacies that you need to get into, some things that you need to educate yourself on just to be able to get to this point. But let's kind of work through what some of those concerns are and how we want to be able to provide a solution that makes it easier for people to start their own businesses and provide a new revenue stream for you. So if you try to set up a retail business, you can understand that there's some little intricacies that end up becoming a huge headache for people that might not either understand it correctly or might end up providing a reason to fail for some reason. So some of those pain points end up including, if you're trying to create a retail business, is, of course you have to end up having a brick and mortar store, so you have to manage everything on that side. You have to manage inventory, you have to manage your warehousing for that inventory as well. You have to worry about shipping and fulfillment and setting up, a UPS and FedEx account and all this other stuff. And then, of course, you have to have an online presence as well so that people would be able to buy your products without having to go into those stores as well. So that's a lot to handle for one person that's just wanting to start a business because they have this specific product or service that they want to, that they think is, the next best thing that they can do better than anyone else, and they want to create a great brand around it. There's all these other things that will, disrupt that process from going from product creation to distribution. But to solve some of these pain points, there's things like Amazon or eBay, for example, that have set up all these different marketplaces for businesses to be able to sell and take out some of that investment and education and little intricacies that could end up failing or causing a business to fail. And so if we think about it, these marketplaces that are set up like Amazon or Etsy or eBay or any one of those other ones, Flipkart, all those typical pain points that we kind of just covered are now alleviated, right? It provides that revenue stream without having to have that investment. Now, in the same light, businesses can now focus on what they do best, which is creating that great product and that excellent brand around that product as well. So, as you're already aware, Zoho itself wasn't actually built in a day, and we went from one application back in 2005 to over 40 and investing in various places like here in Austin and in India. It took a while for us to even get to this point where we started a business and were able to get off on the ground running. So even for a company to get to a successful point, it'll take years upon years to even get there. So normally how we end up interacting with customers like you guys or anyone else that ends up being a customer of Zoho is that we provide our applications directly for people to sign up. So that essentially gives people the ability to access our applications online and purchase through us directly. And with that, we provide all these different resources. So help guide articles, administrator guides, tutorials, other resources to be able to reach out to us and get some of that information, attending sessions like these. But on the flip side, the customer ends up having to invest a little bit to understand those products, right? So their time, their money, their education to be able to understand how Zoho can fit exactly what they need. Now, this might end up being something that ends up being a little bit too difficult for certain customers to be able to invest in. Maybe they're just wanting a system and a solution that works for them, but not have to go through the investment of actually creating those applications. They don't want to go through the hassle of learning a new software. And so with that in mind, that's where our partner program sort of comes into play, where they take all the intricacies out of understanding a complex solution and having to re-educate a set of users on how an application is supposed to work and how it's supposed to be set up for that company, and it pretty much simplifies the whole equation. Now, they end up fitting right in and providing that industry solution or that expertise that works specifically for that customer. Now, the idea is that we don't have to just stop there. We can extend that functionality very similar to how an Amazon store would show up as well. It takes the complexity out of going through the hassle of understanding those products or even setting up that solution for customers that are unique to them, and just uses something like Amazon as a component to be able to sell those products and build that great brand, right? It takes all the complexity out of understanding how to set up a business and be able to market yourselves pretty easily and efficiently as it is on Amazon. And in the same way, we want to take that same logic and use our program that we're going to be talking about to extend that same functionality, where a Zoho partner or someone such as yourselves would be able to use our technology stack as a way to sell a specific verticalized solution for that specific industry and take out some of the clutter and intricacies of our generalized solution and make it specific to that industry and that vertical. And Zoho can just be a component of that offering. Just like how Amazon is just a component of providing a great brand and a great product directly to the customer. So as a Zoho partner, as a creator certified developer, or as even a customer, you guys end up becoming experts in how businesses can utilize Zoho software. Whether you like it or not, you guys have put that time, you've put that investment into how exactly these series of applications are going to be working for maybe just your business or a series of other businesses that you might have expertise in as well. You are now Zoho experts, right? You've already gone through that legwork. So why not provide another revenue stream? So essentially, if you were trying to do something very similar to us, there's all these other pain points that any cloud business or any software company would have to go through as well. You'd have to invest on the technology stack. You'd have to come up with the engineering. You'd have to manage data storage and server costs. You'd have to worry about security and compliance, and of course, GDPR. And you'd, again, have to build a trusted name that customers can actually adopt. So to take all of that complexity out of the process, we're wanting to utilize the Zoho developer program to be able to extend that same capability, just like Amazon, over to you guys as well. So what that means is you can build essentially your own cloud business, you can build your own brand, and you can do so at zero development and engineering costs. You don't have to invest in the technology stack at all. You're using us, and we're essentially your engineering department at the end of the day. And just like how Amazon is going to be the storefront for a retail business, we're essentially the engineering side for this cloud business here. And so what you essentially can do is, of course, build custom CRMs and deploy those on our marketplace for people to sign up for. You can create custom applications and publish them to the marketplace, and also build extensions for CRM. What we're going to focus on in this session specifically centered around building custom CRMs and the verticalized solutions to be able to incorporate that and have that extensibility within the Zoho ecosystem and outside of the Zoho ecosystem for maybe a vertical that hasn't been tapped into yet. So the kind of step-by-step procedure to get to that point where you have that CRM set up goes through building some of the intricacies of how that solution or how that vertical would use the CRM, deploy that as we handle all the signups, the pricing, and everything like that, and then distributing that application to your set of potential users. So you'd be able to white label the solution. You'd be able to have direct signups through your website. You can use our marketplace to be able to share that as well. So various ways to actually extend that capability to your potential customer base. So let's talk first about building. You can essentially be able to use our layer of Zoho CRM to build on top of. You'll essentially have the CRM laid out for you automatically, and all you have to do is just make those little modifications and tweaks, just like you would in your normal CRM, but deploy that for that specific industry or that vertical. So if we talk about a real estate example, you'd be able to go in and change some of the module names from products to properties, or essentially things like that. Move around some of the fields that don't really apply to a real estate example and add in new ones. Or let's just talk about selling vehicles or motorcycles, for example. We need to have dealerships, we need to have end customers, we need to have each and every automobile. You'd be able to make those changes on a customization level from the vertical and have those deployed to anyone that signs up so that they have something specific to them. They don't have to go through the hassle of customizing the solution to fit their needs. And once you build on top of that, and that goes through things like, things like customization to workflows to setting up dashboards and reports, and even integrating other apps, you'd have that same functionality in this console that you see here, where you're able to create that those permissions and customization options straight within the developer console. And then you'll even be able to extend it even further. Just like we were talking about in the last session, where you'll have the ability of creating JavaScript SDKs and connected apps, you'd be able to bring in that same functionality and incorporate that specifically to this vertical solution. So what that means is there's probably third-party applications that this vertical ends up using all the time. If it's for example, real estate, again, incorporating Zillow into that account, or oil and gas, for example, where we need to incorporate data from some of these large oil fields as well. You need to have those specific applications connected, or that logic to be able to set up how those applications are going to fit into Zoho. You'd be able to do that on now this vertical level instead of going into that specific account and configuring it on that level. You'd also be able to offer an extension of other Zoho products on top of what the CRM has the ability of doing as well. So things like Zoho Books, Projects, Survey, a few other applications that we've supported so far, you'd be able to extend that in this vertical offering as well. So that'll give you the ability of not only just doing it from the CRM, but also offer some of the other applications that we have and have that set up and extended to those customers as well. Now, of course, bring in some of the custom features that we just talked about in this Catalyst session, so widgets, functions, custom modules, incorporating creator applications if needed. We can have that extensibility within the vertical solution. And then once you have all that customization set up, we will pretty much take care of the signups and account creation. We handle all the billing, and we take out all that hassle of setting up how your payment processing is going to work and everything like that, and have it so that all you need to worry about is setting up this vertical solution and distributing it to your customers via our marketplace or whatever else. And so once you start deploying it, you can go through the distribution process, market this as much as you need, and set up those tailored editions, so you can set up customized pricing for different editions and offer different features on these editions, just like we have in some of our applications. You could even set up initial implementation fees as well if needed. And then on top of that, you can publish these applications or these vertical solutions back over to our marketplace and have people sign up for them whenever they need. And that'll go straight as a new sign up in your pocket to be able to follow up on. So that's a little bit about how that works. So with that in mind, what I'm going to do is jump into a quick demo on how the developer console sort of works. So the first thing that you'd be able to do is, and I'm just going to refresh this here, all you need to do is go to developer.zoho.com, and then you'd be able to be taken to this page here. And the first thing that you'd essentially be able to do is hit this Build Your Own Solutions option and hit Start Building. So from here, I have a few custom CRMs that I've set up, one for restaurants, one for real estate. What I can do from here is hit and if I wanted to create a new vertical solution, I can go ahead and hit this create app option at the top, and then I can set up a name for it. So I can say that this one is going to be for a car dealership, CRM, and then I can set up my own URL. Right now it says that it's a .zohoplatform.com, which you'd be able to do once you get into the actual modification of this is that you can map your own domain to this as well so that it doesn't even show anything from Zoho. So it can be completely white labeled on the URL front. From here, you can choose what category that it's in, and then essentially choose the modules that you're going to be needing from the CRM system. So there might be some things here that you don't actually need for this solution. You can go ahead and take those things out. You'll have the ability of just incorporating the modules that you need. Okay? And once that's done, I'm going to go back over to my list of applications. So once you go through the process of creating a new one, and of course you can start testing your own if needed, I'm going to go into this estate broker CRM that we went ahead and set up. So the first thing that you'd be able to see is just this section that shows you a little bit of what's going on with this account so far. So you'd be able to see the different versions that you have published on the marketplace. And then you can also invite new users to be able to access that account. So if you wanted to extend that invitation of people to be added, then you'd be able to do so as well. And then over on this build section, this is how you can actually customize the different options on the developer level, on the actual vertical level. So specifically for real estate, I went ahead and changed some of the modules around. So we have buyer and seller leads instead of just normal leads. We have this custom module for Zillow properties. And then within each module, of course, we have certain fields and different layouts of different leads that we went ahead and set up. And the similar UI that you've seen already within the CRM, you're able to drag and drop some of these field options and have them displayed the right way. But again, you're making all these changes from a vertical level now. As soon as someone signs up for this real estate account or this vertical solution, they'd have the same UI as what you're building right now. So that's the layer of what they're going to be starting from. So once that's set up, you'd also have certain things that you can configure as well, certain components. These are bringing in other things from the Catalyst section that we talked about earlier, where you can bring in custom buttons and links, set up related lists so that they'll show the right information as needed for each one. And then you can even get into the point of setting up custom workflows and automation for what's going to happen specific to that account. So again, every single thing that you're going to be building anyways from a CRM, the customization capabilities, the automation capabilities, even setting up custom templates for reports and emails, can all be handled from this developer console so that as soon as that person signs up, they'd be able to have access to each and every one of these certain things. So the legwork is now alleviated. You can also set up custom telephony integrations. So if you wanted to incorporate a system that has its own pop-up widget for making phone calls, you'd be able to incorporate that. You'd also be able to select multiple Zoho applications to be extended in this offering over to this individual as well. Now the question begged here is, we only have 5 applications so far. The idea is that every single Zoho application will be added to this list, and so that you can essentially offer the entire Zoho stack of all applications through this developer console within one URL, your URL. Okay? And then, of course, just like some of the other Catalyst features that we were talking about before, you'd be able to add in some of the other connectors as needed. So if we needed to create connections with other third-party applications that you want to extend to the client, you'll have that ability. And this is where it gets specific to that use case, to that vertical, to that industry. Because of course there's going to be custom applications or specific things that only that vertical actually needs. It's a marketing agency, there's a bunch of different things that they will need to have that maybe an automobile dealership CRM or company probably wouldn't need. So in that light, you can make these custom connectors that are specific to that vertical that we're setting up. And then, of course, bring in custom widgets and other applications as needed to have those showcased. So we can even set up that Catalyst customization on the developer level as well. And then once you're pretty much finished with all the build out of what you're going to be showing over here, the other thing is that you could set up and white label the entire system as well. So you could set up your own logo, you can show exactly what they're going to be seeing when they log in. And of course, you can map your domain to the system as well, so that gives you the ability of not having anything Zoho actually show up within the system. And then you'd also be able to provide your contact information to provide support for this application. So how they can reach out to you directly, what notifications that they get when they sign up, and setting up other configurations on that level. You can have that completely set up within the developer console without having to go into that specific user's location to be able to configure these certain things. And then lastly, setting up the pricing. So I went ahead and added a couple of different pricing options over here for the different editions that I have. And you'll be able to do the same thing. You can basically price these applications in the CRM solution however much you want. You'll be able to take and edit these. You can choose which features are going to be added to each edition that you end up setting up. You can incorporate other applications within that offering as well. And of course, this is going to be increased as we add more and more applications to the developer stack. And then you can also set up the pricing markup of how much you're going to be charging for it. If you want to add an annual offering, you so could as well. You could set up initial implementation fees, and then add in what the description of that edition is going to look like. And again, all of the pricing, all of the payment processing and everything like that is going to be handled by us, and you wouldn't have to worry about it at all. We'd essentially process everything from the user side, from the pricing side, and you'd be able to just get that revenue stream set up automatically. And then once you've set up that pricing and that customization, you can go ahead and publish it so that as soon as it's live, people can go into this URL like I have here, estateproker.zohoplatform.com. They'd be able to click on it and sign up as a new user immediately. So I'll go ahead and do that right now. If I open this link in a new tab here, it's going to allow me to log into the account, or I could just sign up as another user. If I go through this process of creating a new account, what's going to happen is I'm going to see my customers actually listed over here. So I can see a list of everyone who's actually signed up, what type of pricing plan that they're on right now, whether they're just trial users that are looking at the product or if they've actually went ahead and signed up and paid. So I'd be able to get that insight onto which people are actually signing up for my product. And then from here, I'd be able to, from a customer management perspective, if they were having, let's just say, some trouble with that account that you went ahead and set up for them, you can hit this little green request access button. What that does from a customer management perspective is that you'd be able to go into their specific account, troubleshoot whatever issues that they had without burning a license for them. So they'd be able to have their issues resolved, and you'd be able to go in as a developer and be able to make any of those changes that are needed or set up the CRM and customize it a little bit further specifically for them without having to go in and create a new user under that account. So it'll make it a little bit easier on that side. The other thing is that as you're setting up more and more enhancements on the CRM, as you're making more and more changes, you can go ahead and publish those changes as they're made. And each and every change that you make will be shown up as a different version over here. And so if you wanted to maybe say, hey, I don't want to publish this version to everybody who's a customer, you'd be able to manage that information back over into this customer section as well. So you can allow them to be on previous versions or upgrade them to the next build before they move forward. So you'll have that control and make sure that the customer is ready for any changes that you end up deploying and making. And then as far as managing the income and the revenue that you actually get from the system, you'd be able to go into our payments portal and actually see some of the actual breakdown of some of the offerings that you get and when people actually sign up for those products. So in a snapshot, this essentially gives you that ability to capture some of that information as far as which which verticals that you're going to end up tapping into, and provide that insight into your own brand and your own setup without having to go through the intricacies of going into that customer's account and building it out for them. All that's going to be handled by us on the technology stack, and all you have to do is provide a great product at the end of the day. And then you can publish this over to our marketplace so that people can sign up directly if they're wanting to use a customized version of Zoho, or you can start to brand it yourself and have that, essentially mapped over to the platform. And of course, there's no cost to be able to sign up for this. It's free. You can go ahead and sign up right now and start playing around with it and start publishing a new application. The process to be able to get off the ground and running is as easy as clicking a couple of buttons, and you can start your own platform within a few minutes if you wanted to, and have a direct URL access for people to sign up for it immediately. So it gives you that ability right off the ground. And if you wanted to, you could publish that application over to our marketplace and give people access to be able to sign up for it directly. We, again, handle all the payment processing, and you can take out all the intricacies of what we were talking about by building your own SaaS business, and all you have to do is just make a great brand and a great product for people to be able to handle. And when we talk about the business potential over here, if we look at some of the industries and how much money that they're actually making, we're going off a revenue share basis. All the applications or the different offerings that we have on the marketplace, whether it be connectors or plugins, some are 100% to you guys, since we wouldn't be handling any of that. And some of those applications, such as custom apps and the CRM, is on a revenue share basis. We essentially take our base of what we would normally charge for the CRM anyways, and you can provide anything on top of that, as a straight revenue to you as a partner or as a Zoho developer. And so let's just say, for example, that our base is going to be, of course, $30 a month for each user on the developer platform, and you wanted to mark it up, let's just say $70 and charge $100 per user, maybe even add a setup fee initially. Anything that you end up purchasing, let's just say that we ended up selling to 10 users, your margin over here is going to be that $700. So as it kind of goes on and on, we can see that the projection of multiple users across that time frame, that margin is going to be increasing for every 10 additional users that you end up adding. So the possibilities here are endless, and the profitability of creating this other revenue stream for you guys is taken to another level with something like this. And again, there's no implementation fee on our side. You can start setting up with it immediately, and you can go ahead and take it from there. So with that in mind, I'm pretty much wrapped up here.